those. Just pick one you like and that's it. Also today we have OIE workshop at 2 and tomorrow we have OIE workshop. If you decide to go to the OIE workshop, you won't be able to go to the first lecture because it's in the same time at 2 p.m. but it's okay. And also it's in the different buildings, so just wait here in front of the big lecture room at 1:50 or 13:50. And also, so after that, if you go to OIE workshop, you won't be able to go to lecture, but for other people, you have 2 lectures from 2 until 4. Also, please be on time and follow the schedule. If we say breakfast is until 8, don't go eating after that, please. And also, clean after you eat. Today, there is no dinner. You have cultural evening and you will eat the stuff you will bring. But there is no official dinner, so just grab something on your own. Also, in Croatia, you can drink that water everywhere, even in bathrooms. So don't worry. But if you don't have a reusable bottle, buy it, because we won't have bottled water available at all times. Also, if you lose your transportation card, you have to pay for your transportation on your own because we can't afford a new card for you. And of course, during GA, you will have coffee break, so you will have time to drink coffee. And that's it.
Sure, thank you. So much speech. Understand that.
Right. Okay, so we're going to go straight into the General Assembly. Can everyone please be quiet and listen? Thank you. Before I carry on, can I ask that when someone's speaking in the front that you don't speak over them? I really appreciate that. So I did realize that I forgot to introduce myself when I did my speech. I'm Marta Janaš. I'm the president of IVSA on Expo Global. So yes, that is who I am. So we're going to start with the General Assembly. I just check here. Okay, I'm going to call the General Assembly to order at 9:47 a.m. Croatia time. So the first agenda point that we have is, welcome. Okay, so the first agenda point that we have is the welcome and introduction by me. So I will just explain a little bit about IVSA and what we do. So the mission of IVSA is to benefit the animals and the people of the world by harnessing the potential and dedication of veterinary students to promote the international application of veterinary skills, education, and knowledge. What is IVSA? The name is International Veterinary Students Association, for those of you who don't know that yet. It's been established in 1951 in Germany. We are the largest veterinary students association worldwide. It's a not-for-profit, non-governmental organization, and it's run entirely by volunteer veterinary students, and we have registered offices in Brussels, Belgium. So the governance of IVSA, we first of all have the General Assembly, which is all of you sitting here today. That is the main decision-making body of IVSA. Under that, we have the IVSA officials, so that include the Executive Committee, or EXCO, as you might hear us talking about, the Secretariat, Trust, and the committee chairs, and then under the committee chairs we have committees and working groups. And the purpose of the IVSA officials is to carry out the tasks dictated by the General Assembly and to perform all the tasks and decisions made by the General Assembly at the biannual events that we have. Furthermore, we have member organizations, or MOs, as you've heard us refer to them. Those are, for example, IVSA SAVMA, IVSA South Africa, IVSA France. There are different ones under them, so you get local member organizations and national member organizations, and we'll elaborate a bit on that further later on as well. And all of this, the whole functioning of IVSA is governed by a set of constitution and bylaws. Right, so member organizations. We have over 39,000 members from 139 different universities in 58 countries. And you'll see this map is a little bit outdated, but it gives you a kind of an idea of what is going on in IVSA and who's there, who's here. All right, So on to the officials. You might not be able to read that, but it is also in your General Assembly booklet, so you can look at those a bit more carefully. The dark blue ones are the executive committee members. I will introduce all of them in a short moment. Then to the right, there are a few secretaries. Below we have the committee chairs, and right at the bottom we have the trust members. And then, sorry, to the left there are also some more secretaries and then post treasurers on there as well. All right, so first of all, the executive committee members. Can I ask all of Exco to just come up at the front here? So you'll see, I'm just going to start on the left-hand side. You'll see top left, that's me. I'm the president of IVSA. Can you just come stand so I can see your faces as well? Then second of all is Jackie. She's just busy at the moment with something else, so you'll see her sitting up front here throughout the whole assembly meetings. Then after that we have Miriam, and she is our committee coordinator. Just put up your hands so they know who you are. That's Miriam. Right, then Daniel is our treasurer. Peter, he's the external relations officer. Tavishi, she's member organization director. Andre, he is our public relations coordinator. And Charlotte, where's Charlotte? Oh, there you go. She's the development aid director. Yes, thank you. So those are the executive committee members. Thank you. Then can we get all the secretaries to please just stand up, like at the front here, so they can see your faces as well. So also, once again, starting from top left, we have Charlotte, who's over there. Then Anya, Nita. Prince couldn't make it. Prince couldn't make it, unfortunately. Sitska couldn't either. Then Ryan. And Thomas. So those are your secretaries. Okay, then we also have a few committee chairs present. Where's Nina? So the first committee chair top left, that is Nina. And then Georgios. Then Henji. Alvin. And Meg is also unfortunately busy, so you'll see her around there. Sorry, I didn't say which committees they are part of, but Miriam will elaborate a bit on that later. Then lastly, we have trust. So we have two trust members here. That's Akil and Jordan. But then also just on the picture, we have Denise, Lucci, Jordan, as you can see, Laura at the bottom, Akil, and Emma. Those are all our trust members. Alright, so now you've met all of the officials. Please don't be scared of us, we don't bite. We are nice people, usually. But yeah, please, if you have any questions or like you just want to chat, just want to find out a little bit more about IVSA, we're here, we're available, and we're happy to talk to you. So on to our current partners. I'm not going to go through all of them because Peter will elaborate a little bit on this later on. But these are just some of the current partners that we have. And these are 3 sponsors that we currently have. So what does IVSA do? And some of you have been involved in some of these activities and some of you haven't. But I'm going to still go through them quite quickly. So first of all, it's global events. The annual Congress is a symposium, and that is the reason why you are all here today. Secondly is exchanges. So we have both individual and group exchanges, and I'm sure a lot of you have been on exchanges before, but we'll also tell you a little bit more about that later on in the GA. Then we have the committees and working groups, which I very briefly introduced the chairs to you, but there is basically currently 5 committees and working groups. The first one is Standing Committee on Veterinary Education, Standing Committee on Animal Welfare, Standing Committee on Wellness, Standing Committee on One Health, and the Working Group on Policies. I don't think I said those in order, but all right. Then on to the Development and Scholarship Fund. So that's all dealt with by the Development Aid Director and her team, and we'll also tell you a bit more about that later. So we have different collaborations and partnerships with different organizations worldwide, which you'll also find out about more. Then we have local and international events and projects that are run both by IVSA Global and by the local member organizations. There's the Exchange Officer Bulletin that gets sent out quite regularly, and the IVSA Journal as well. So these global events, like the Congress and Symposium, the reason for this is to experience the country's veterinary education system, the culture and traditions. But the main reason that we all here is for the meeting that we are currently in. And those are the General Assembly meetings, as I've explained briefly earlier. We then also have IVSA workshops, development fund auctions, lectures, exco meetings, some networking, cultural excursions, and social events, which you can obviously all see in the program that we have on the app. So, 2 events that are coming up. The next symposium will be in Morocco in January 2020, and after that it would be in Greece. But currently, welcome to Croatia. Right, now on to the less interesting things. But it's very important, so you better listen carefully. And I'm not being sarcastic. So first of all, voting and Robert's Rules of Order. So I'm just going to go through a list of the things that we're going to discuss now. First of all, it's going to explain the voting to you. Voting as a country, that you have 2 votes, and that there are different methods of casting votes. And then I'll go over Robert's Rules of Order newly revised, which is the rules that we use to follow the procedures within the General Assembly meetings. I'll explain what these rules are, how to make motions, and then how to make secondary motions as well. So voting. Each country will have 2 votes. So a supranational entity like IVSA UK and Ireland, and SABMA counts as that as well, you still count as only 1 country for the purpose of voting. So you also only still get 2 votes. All member organizations from a single country must come to an agreement between themselves of how they want to cast a vote. So if you have different member organizations within one country, you still only get 2 votes. But make sure that each member organization has an equal say in voting. I'll explain a bit more. So for each 2 countries' votes, you can either vote for, against, or abstain. So an abstain means that it's a non-vote. So then the vote is subtracted from the total vote pool, and it's not it doesn't mean the same as a no vote, but it is a non-vote. So it gets removed from the pool, but you can abstain. You don't have to vote if you're not sure. It can kind of be explained as halfway between for, against, and should therefore, and should be given. So it's especially if you do not feel that you understand enough about the issue, or that you do not have any feelings for or against the issue. I'll explain a bit more about that now. So, in the case of voting to elect a person, the votes can cast to either pick a person to vote for or to abstain. So we don't vote against a person. So you either vote for the person or you abstain, but you don't vote against a person. So this applies for each of the 2 votes in the same way as voting for a motion. So you can either pick one person to vote for twice. So you can put 2 votes for a person, pick 2 different people to vote for one. So you have 1 vote for one person, 1 vote for the other person. Pick 1 person to vote for once, and then give 1 abstain vote. So then you have 1 person that you vote for, and then you abstain 1, or give 2 abstain votes if you don't want to vote for either of the 2 people. All right, so this is just more of a grammatical depiction. So a country has 1 MO, like for the purpose of voting. So regardless of how many local member organizations there are, as a country you only have 1. If there are 6 delegates, like on this picture, you still only have 2 votes. So the 2 votes will represent the views of all the delegates of the individual vet schools as accurately as possible. So if most of them are in favor of a motion, then you'll vote for the motion. If most of you are against the motion, you'll vote against the motion. or you can have one vote for, one vote abstain, etc. If a country has two MOs and, for example, the MOs are split, you can say that one MO gets one vote, one MO gets another vote. It's up to your country to decide how you want to distribute the votes, as long as it is fair. So you have to select one delegate per GA session to state the votes of your country, and it can be a different delegate in each session. So you have to make sure that you have one person dedicated to doing the voting during that assembly meeting. Whatever the voting method is used, this person is always the only person to state or show the votes. Okay. So casting your vote, if you have any objections, so when the chair thinks the results will likely be obvious, if the chair asks for this and everyone is silent, then the motion passes. If you wish to call for a vote, you say, I object. In this case, minimal voting time will be allowed, and this is mainly to use where no objection is expected. If you want time to think about the vote, you must say so. So there will be time for you to do discussions, and if you ever feel like you need time to think about it, you have to say that you do need some time to think about it. But if the chair asks, are there any objections, and you do not say anything and you do not object, then they will assume that the vote has been passed. Okay, then the second method of voting is the card raising vote. So if there's likely to be some divided opinion on a method, so if then a two-thirds majority is required, or if any of the members call on it, then the chair will move to a card raising vote. So you will receive your cards when we do roll call, and those are the cards you're going to be using to making your votes. So when the chair asks for those in favor, this person raise one green card per vote in favor, and you have maximum 2 votes. So you'll receive 2 green cards. If you have 1 vote in favor, you raise 1 green card. If you have 2 votes in favor, you raise 2 green cards. So green means in favor. Then if the chair asks for those who are opposed, the person can raise 1 red card per vote against. So same thing counts. If you have 1 vote against, you raise 1 red card. If you have 2 votes against, you raise 2 red cards. And you're not allowed to cast more than 2 votes in total per member organization. And any votes not cast will be counted as abstain. So if you want to abstain from that vote, you just don't raise any cards. If someone doesn't agree with the chair's ruling, they can order a count or the roll call vote. Either of those will require a second. So if someone wants to count of the votes, then it needs to be seconded. Right, then roll call vote. This is the third type of voting. The secretary to the GA shall call out the names of the voting entity present, and 1 delegate per country states their country's votes when asked. So you get up and you say what your votes are, and that then gets recorded by the Secretary General. All right. Are there any questions up to now? I know it seems a little bit confusing, but you're welcome to ask us as things go along if you're unsure about anything. All right, so just a quick summary here. The chair asks, are there any objections? If you agree with the motion, you say nothing. If there's a card raising vote, you raise the green cards if you're in favor, you raise the red cards if you're against, and if there's a roll call vote, you state your votes out loud when your country is called. Right, once again, any questions? No, okay. The next topic is Robert's Rules of Order newly revised. So as I said, this is how the meetings are going to be run throughout this time. It's a set of rules for conduct at the meeting. It needs to be orderly, efficient, fairly, and widely used. It's fairly widely used, sorry, but it is a very efficient way of conducting meetings. It is used by IVSA, where these rules do not conflict our constitution and bylaws. Under no circumstances should undue strictness be allowed to intimidate members or limit full participation. So you are more than welcome to state any issues that you may have. Please do not be afraid to stand up. Even if it's your first event, if you have something to say, please say it. And we will help you as we go along in terms of what you're allowed to say, when and where. So don't be shy. Obtain the floor and speak if you have a question, even if you don't know if it's a point of privilege, point of information, point of order, or a parliamentary inquiry. You have to behave according to the Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, and you have to listen to the chair's instructions. So when the chair stands in front here, you have to listen to what the chair says. All right, so onto motions. So this is making motions. Only voting delegates may make motions or vote on motions. So if you're not an official delegate, then you're not allowed to make a motion or vote on a motion. So the way you do that is you put your hand up and then you wait for the chair to acknowledge you. Then once the chair acknowledges you, you stand up, you state your name and your voting entity. So that would mean, I, for example, would be Magdalena Janasz, IVSA Exco. Or you would say IVSA France or IVSA SAMA or IVSA South Africa, or whatever your member organization is. And then you say, I move that, and precisely word your motion, because the motions get recorded in the minutes and they need to be exactly worded as you want them to be worded. After you've made a motion, that motion needs to get seconded. So someone needs to just shout second. The person shouting second doesn't have to stand up and say their name, they just have to say second. And then once it is seconded, it's open for discussion. So whoever made the motion is allowed to speak first. So after you've made the motion and it's been seconded, you can speak and you can explain your motion or just explain what your thought process was for making that motion. Nobody can speak twice on the same issue until everyone else wishing to speak has spoken once. And the chair will coordinate this. So if you put up your hand and the chair looks like, he doesn't see you, it doesn't mean that he's not seeing you. It means that it might be that you have already spoken on this issue and he wants to give other people the chance first to speak before he allows you to speak again. And then when no further debate is taking place, the chair will ask the question and a vote is taken. All right, just some considerations. Remarks must be relevant and debate the motion, not the person. So no personal attacks will be allowed or tolerated. Try to avoid using people's names and always speak to the chair. So don't speak to people in the General Assembly, you speak to the chair directly. All right, so other motions that relate to or interrupt the main motion. So once a motion is on the table, that motion is being discussed, but there are three ways in which that motion can be interrupted. So the first one is a point of privilege. So that is related to noise, personal comfort, can't hear the speaker, I'm feeling really warm in the room without air conditioning, anything like that. So that's a point of privilege. Second one is a point of information. So that's when information required regarding to the facts affecting the motion. So a question for the speaker, you should not use point of information to give information, you use point of information to ask information. So if there's something you're unsure of and you have a question, you can put up your hand and say point of information and ask for it to be clarified, but you can't put up your hand and say point of information and then give information. Then the third one is point of order. So if there aren't rules being followed, if you realize that at any point rules are being broken, you have to get up and state it immediately. All right, just quickly, does anyone have any questions on these three? No. Okay. Then onto the cards. So there are 3 colored cards. You're going to receive a few cards, but the first color card is the yellow card. There, Thomas is showing you what the yellow card looks like, just so you all know. That is if you want the person to slow down. So these instructions are also included in the General Assembly booklet that has been sent out to all of you. So if you're unsure, just check the booklet on the app and on your phone, and you can just clarify which one you need. So if you need someone to slow down, you don't need to put up your hand or anything, just raise the yellow card if the person is speaking too fast. Then the blue is if you want the chair to summarize the point. So you're a little bit confused as to what's going on, you need clarification, you put up the blue card and ask the chair to summarize. The orange is if you want the person to speak louder. So if the person is speaking really softly and you can't hear what they're saying, you put up the orange card and that person will make sure that they speak louder and closer to the microphone. All right, secondary motions are other motions that relate to or interrupt the main motion. So There's a parliamentary inquiry. So if you want to ask a question about the rules and how they're being followed, so for example, is it in order to make a motion to postpone this until later, for example? So if it's something that you're not sure of the rules and you want us to look it up, you ask for a parliamentary inquiry and then you ask your question, and we will make sure that we check the rules as to what needs to happen in that instance. And it's also used for clarifications of our constitution and bylaws. Then, if you want to amend a motion, it's to change the wording of the motion, and then that's voted on. So if it's a friendly amendment, it doesn't change the meaning, and it doesn't need a vote if there are no objections. So friendly amendments, the chair will ask if there are any objections. If there are none, then the friendly amendment will be made. But if it's an amendment to change the meaning, then it would be officially voted on. To withdraw, once the motion is open for discussion, the GA must give permission to withdraw a motion. So if someone wants to open up the motion, wants to withdraw it, the GA will give permission to that. I move to previous question. It closes the debate immediately. It needs a second and requires a 2/3 majority. So if someone says move to previous question, the debate stops and you go straight to a vote. And then there are lots more possible secondary motions, and you'll see as we go along, how that works. All right, so just in summary, you get 2 votes per country. 1 person per GA session is selected to show and cast these votes. Each MO should have a fair say. Abstain does not mean no, but it means that the vote is not cast. There are different methods of voting, as I've discussed. We use Robert's Rules of Order to try and make meetings fair and efficient. Various secondary motions are possible, and you can also look at your GA booklet for a bit more clarification on that. And remember, stand up, state your name and voting entity, and don't be afraid to stand up, obtain the floor and speak if you have a question, even if you don't know how it fits in. There are a lot of new people here, and I really want to encourage you to stand up and speak. Don't be afraid. We will help you as we go along. All right. I would now suggest that the chair entertains a motion that observers to the General Assembly should be granted the right of speech for the remainder of this Congress.
Daniel Lund, IVSA Exco, I so move.
Second.
Are there any discussion points on this? All right. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passed. All right, then just other important things. Please read the Exco Secretary and Trust reports. Those are to you. They haven't been printed because we're trying to save some paper. So please go check the booklets, the reports in one of the emails that has been sent by the Secretary General. And you'll also see there are emails with documents and links, and everything you need will be, you can find in there. And if there are any questions or anything that you can't find, please let us know so we can make sure that it is available to you. All right, on to the next point. Roll call on member organizations. So I'm going to hand over to Jordan, who is
really long, so just bear with us and try and stay quiet so that we can clearly hear and get through it as quick as possible. When I announce your MO, I'll be doing it by local MOs, and we need one person from each MO to stand up and clearly say present, and then come down to Thomas here, who will give you all your paperwork, and then head back to your seat. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. It's one person from that country, so stand up for each local member organisation and say present, but one person from your country. So for example, IVSA Algeria, we just need one person to collect all the paperwork for Algiers and Batman. Okay, does everyone understand? Brilliant, we'll get cracking. Okay. Okay, so When you come down to Thomas to collect your paperwork, you also need to tell him the number of delegates in your member organisation for the GA bingo. So make sure you count them before you come down. Okay, let's get started. IVSA Algeria Algiers.
Turn down to
IVSA Algeria Batna. IVSA Austria. Thank you. IVSA Belgium Ghent.
Present.
IVSA China. Is that a present? Present?
Yeah.
IVSA Croatia. Thank you. IVSA Czech Republic.
Present.
IVSA Denmark.
Present.
IVSA Egypt. IVSA Estonia.
Present.
IVSA Finland.
Present.
IVSA France. IVSA Germany.
Present.
IVSA Ghana Kumasi. IVSA Greece Thessaloniki. IVSA Greece Thessaly. IVSA Hungary. Is that a present? IVSA Indonesia. IVSA Iraq Duhok. IVSA Iraq Sulmania. Suleimania. IVSA Italy Bologna. IVSA Italy Milan. IVSA Italy Naples. IVSA Italy Teramo. IVSA Japan. IVSA Kenya. IVSA Kosovo. Pristina. Sorry, 2 seconds. IVSA Malaysia Kelantan. IVSA Malaysia Selangor. Sorry, slight technical difficulties. IVSA Morocco. IVSA Namibia. IVSA Nepal. IVSA Netherlands. IVSA Nigeria. IVSA Norway. IVSA Philippines. IVSA Poland Krakow. IVSA Poland Lubin. IVSA Poland Olsztyn. IVSA Poland Poznan. IVSA Poland Warsaw. Oh, no. IVSA Portugal. Sorry, IVSA Poland Wroclaw. IVSA Romania Bucharest. Present? Bucharest? Yes. IVSA Romania Cluj-Napoca. IVSA Romania ISI?
yes.
IVSA Romania Timisoara. IVSA Russia St. Petersburg. IVSA Satmar. IVSA Slovakia. IVSA Slovenia. IVSA South Africa. IVSA South Korea. IVSA Spain Barcelona. IVSA Spain Zaragoza. IVSA Sweden. IVSA Switzerland Bern. IVSA Switzerland Zurich. IVSA Taiwan. Please do say present when you get up. IVSA Thailand. IVSA Tunisia.
They're here. Did you just say Tunisia and you say present? Okay.
IVSA Turkey Ankara. IVSA Turkey Aden. IVSA Turkey Bursa. IVSA Turkey Istanbul. IVSA Turkey Konya. IVSA Turkey Samsun. IVSA Uganda. IVSA UK and Ireland. IVSA Zambia. IVSA Zimbabwe. That's all the active MOs. Now the MOs I'm going to read out are candidate MOs. IVSA Algeria leader. IVSA Algeria Constantine. IVSA Australia Murdoch. IVSA Australia Queensland. IVSA Bangladesh. IVSA Brazil Belém. IVSA Bulgaria Sofia. IVSA Cameroon. IVSA Chile Santiago. IVSA Colombia. IVSA El Salvador. IVSA Ghana Pong Tamale. IVSA India. IVSA Iraq Kirkuk. IVSA Italy Cammarino. IVSA Kazakhstan. IVSA Latvia. IVSA Libya Tripoli. IVSA Macedonia. IVSA Madagascar AEMBM. IVSA Mongolia. IVSA Pakistan. IVSA Paraguay San Lorenzo. IVSA Peru. IVSA Serbia. IVSA Spain Zaragoza. IVSA Turkey Afyon. IVSA Turkey Burda. IVSA Turkey Elazığ. IVSA Turkey Erzurum. IVSA Turkey Kayseri. IVSA Ukraine. We have quorum of 71.4%.
Right, we are ready to move on then to the election of the election committee. So about the election committee, it shall consist of 3 people, of whom at least one must be a former or current member of the executive committee. Election committee shall be elected by the General Assembly. You cannot nominate or be nominated if you are part of the election committee. The tasks of the election committee is to collect nominee forms, hang them up, print the voting ballots, collect the voting ballots, count the votes, oversee the presentations, etc. So everything to do with elections. So, are there any nominations for the election committee? Sorry, you first. Yeah.
So, Isabel, IVSA friends, I would like to nominate Colin IVSA Sadma for election.
Colin, do you accept? Okay, any other nominations?
Switzerland. I would like to nominate Tina Zareva for election committee.
Tina, do you accept?
Yes.
Akil Gina, IVSA Trust. I'd like to nominate Peter de Villiers for election committee.
Peter, do you accept?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations for the election committee? Well, I'm not seeing any other nominations. So since there are only 3 nominees for the election committee, they are all automatically assigned the positions. So congratulations. All right. Can I just please ask, when you get up and say your name, please be very loud and clear, because it's quite difficult to hear your names in the front here. So say your name out loud and clear, and so that we can record that in the minutes, please. All right, so election of the chair. Are there any nominations for chair? Right, so the chair of the General Assembly meetings. So IVSA bylaws state that a chair shall be elected at the beginning of the General Assembly. The chairman shall be responsible for maintaining order in the General Assembly according to Robert's Rules of Order newly revised. The chair shall have no vote. The chair must have a great understanding of the IVSA constitution, bylaws, and manuals, must have a great understanding of IVSA structure, and must have a great understanding of Robert's Rules of Order newly revised. Right. Now, are there any nominations for chair?
I want to go to Derver from English from IVSA Thessaly. I want to nominate Perry Curler. IVSA Southmont.
Perry, do you accept? Are there any other nominations for chair? Seeing no other nominations, the position is automatically assigned to Perry. Thank you.
All right, let's do this.
Yay.
It's okay. I'm gonna use the clicker. Cool. So before we get started, I did want to reiterate that there are a lot of rules to speaking in General Assembly, but I don't want them to keep you from speaking or asking a question. So if you raise your hand, either I or someone in this room will help you word it the correct way so you can still speak. Please just raise your hand. We'll let you speak. Don't be afraid of me. All right, let's do this. So now, election of the parliamentarian. It's a lot to read. The General Assembly shall appoint a parliamentarian for the duration of the General Assembly. The parliamentarian shall be responsible for ensuring that the General Assembly is run according to the Constitution and bylaws. The parliamentarian may be called upon by the General Assembly to clarify parliamentary inquiries. The parliamentarian shall refrain from making motions and participating in debate as much as is reasonably possible, and they shall retain the right to vote. And then they should have a good understanding of the IVSA Constitution, bylaws, and manuals, and be familiar with Robert's rules. The chair will now accept nominations for parliamentarian. Are there any nominations?
Jan Visser from IVSA South Africa. I would like to nominate Brandon Netzels from IVSA.
Brandon, do you accept?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, are there any other nominations for parliamentarian? Seeing none, nominations are closed. There was one nominee for one position, so Brandon, you're parliamentarian. All right, next on the agenda is amendments to, what's up? You already got a bingo? Oh. Well, raise your hand. Elwin.
Can I just, I was not sure how to say Netherlands. Can I just explain the bingo?
Yeah, but you have to talk to me technically, so explain it to me.
All right. Why don't you just call me Paul?
If you want, sure, why not? We'll break all the rules right at the beginning. For future reference, this is not allowed.
I will explain to the chair right now how the GA bingo works. But look at it.
The chair will entertain a motion to stand at ease for 2 minutes. I didn't call on you. I called on Elwin. Is there a second? Okay, any objections to standing at ease for 2 minutes? Hearing none, we're at ease. That just means you can't leave the room.
All right, so I will just explain to you the bingo movement. It is actually very easy. So in the General Assembly, sometimes things do not go as they should. These are all on bingo. Also, things that should go as they should. If it happens, cross it off. If your card is full, we're only playing full card, you raise your thing and you say, bingo. That's clear, right? All right, so the middle space you get for free because of elements. Yeah? All right, so, and the winner will get a nice prize. So pay attention in GA, cross the things off that happen, and if you have bingo, call it out. I'll check if it's really a good one, because I will keep track as well. So don't go for bingo, I will find you. Then, second thing, you see those nice bags on the left? Well, most of them. Those are compliment bags. So you can also get a small piece of paper, write something nice about someone from your country, put them in there. It's nice and stuff. You see some of the bags are still plastic. I'm working on that to replace them with paper.
My bag is the American flag one.
Yeah, he's from America. You might have heard. All right, that's it from me.
That was good. Very quick.
What a nice race.
Okay, that was at about 2 minutes. 2 minutes in. Okay. Chair calls the GA back to order at the time that it is right now. 10:33 a.m. Croatia time. Okay, next on the agenda. Amendments to and approval of the proposed agenda. Are there any amendments to the proposed agenda? Oh, wait, shouldn't I entertain a motion to approve it and then amend it? I think I should. Okay. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the proposed agenda. Kylie.
Kylie Small, IVSA 797.
Is there a second? Yeah, there was. Discussion. Kylie, it's your motion. Do you have any discussion? Okay. Anybody else? No, you can make amendments. Peter.
Peter de Villiers, IVSA Exco. I move to add a point after number 24 on the GA agenda phrase MOUs pending GA approval.
They can't hear you. Do you mind repeating it really loudly?
To you.
Yeah, you can yell at them. It's fine.
Okay. Okay. Peter de Villiers, IVSA Exco. I move to add a point to agenda after number 24 phrase MOUs pending GA approval.
Great. Any discussion on that amendment? Okay. Are there any objections to amending and adding that line that he just read to us? Hearing none, passed. What's happening? Hey, hey, hello. Hi. I can just yell. You want me to yell?
Yeah.
It's a lot of yelling though.
I wouldn't.
Is it? I think I'm still just yelling.
Is it working?
Yeah, the mic, they like it. I can also just think about it. They couldn't hear Peter, not me.
Yeah, that's a use.
But we need that for
We need
Peter.
for. Well, that's good speak that much.
Baby Peter.
So rude.
Stroll about. Here we go. Yeah, let's go. Are there more amendments? Daniel, yeah, go for it.
Daniel Lund, IVSA Exco. I move to add the agenda point bylaw amendment on finances before point 37 in GA2.
Second.
Wonderful. Any discussion? Daniel.
I would quickly like to explain to the GA and to the chair why we're adding this amendment and why it hasn't been sent out on time. The reason this wasn't added ahead of time was because I had to double check some details, and I am very sorry that I didn't do that earlier. We as Exco felt that it was important to make this bylaw amendment now because it's relevant for the budget and financial report of the next term. It is a very short bylaw amendment, very, very short, and I hope you can read it before GA2 if there are no objections to my motion.
Well said. Anybody else? Okay, are there any objections to the amendment? Hearing none, amendment passes. Any further discussion on approving the proposed agenda? Tavish.
Tavish Pandya, IVSA Exco. I move to change the title of point 16 from top 10 MOs to top 5 MOs.
So second?
Second.
Thank you. Don't forget, everybody got a second. Okay, any discussion on that amendment? Daniel?
Daniel Lund, IVSA Exco. It is not point 16, it's point 18. I would like to edit point 18 to top. I know.
Anyone else like to speak? Because Daniel's already spoken. Ellen wants to speak. Okay, go for it.
Okay, over IVSA Netherlands, friendly amendment, instead of point 16, should say 18.
I'll accept that as friendly.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Okay, any further discussion on this amendment? Are there any objections to the amendment as friendly amended? Hearing none, amendment passes. For future reference, a friendly amendment is when it doesn't change the meaning. So that's why we're allowing it, because it's just a number.
It's just.
It's the same idea. Keep it calm. Are there any other comments on the proposed agenda? Yeah, okay, Andre, go for it. If you want one of these.
Yeah.
You're a little soft spoken.
Okay. Under IVSA Exco, I move to add the agenda point IVSA strategic plan to before point 15.1. So the point development aid director will be 15.2 and so on.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion or comments on the amendment? Any objections to the amendment? Hearing none, amendment passes. Are there any other comments on the proposed agenda as amended? Okay, are there any objections to approving the proposed agenda with the amendments you just heard? Hearing none, it's approved. Next, approval of the minutes from the 67th IVSA Symposium in South Korea. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the 67th IVSA Symposium in South Korea. Kristen.
Kristen from IVSA Austria. I so move.
Second.
Is there any discussion on approving the minutes from South Korea? You guys love those minutes? Yeah. Okay. Any objections to approving the minutes from the 67th IVSA Symposium in South Korea? Hearing none, they're approved. Next on the agenda, forming of a standing committee on career attributes, SCOCA. Is that what we're calling it? SCOCA? Okay, SCOCA. I'm going to give the floor to you. Yeah.
All right, so in the General Assembly booklet, the name is slightly different, but we haven't made a motion yet, so the point is still the same. But basically, we're forming this standing committee, and we will explain the roles and responsibilities of the standing committee. But currently, their main roles will be the trainers network and setting up and establishing a sustainable way of running the trainers network. So I move to form the standing committee on career attributes until it is dissolved by the General Assembly. The chair will be elected by the General Assembly, and the members must be appointed by the chair based on the submitted application forms at the end of September.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Any questions, anybody? Akil.
Akil, IVSA trust, can you just maybe explain to them the exact details of this standing committee and what they want to do with regard to the trainers network?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, so we will be describing this later in the GA presentations quite in a lot of detail, but currently the main focus of this this committee, at least for in terms of short-term goals, would be soft skill training and setting up a trainers network that's focused on soft skills training presented by students. So the trainers network is basically a network of students that present soft skill trainings that are equipped and qualified to do that. And it's a whole network that we're trying to establish, and we've been trying for a time now to set up this network, and we feel as the executive committee of IVSA that the best way to go about this to make it more sustainable is to form a standing committee on this, but not necessarily to, not just scratch that last sentence, but yeah, just to form a standing committee on this and focused on soft skill training from now.
Okay, any other questions, comments, cries for help? Okay. Okay, then, are there any objections to the motion to form the standing committee on career attributes until it is dissolved by the General Assembly? The chair will be elected by the General Assembly, and the members will be appointed by the chair based on submitted application forms at the end of September. Hearing no objections, motion passes. Okay, now we're going to start doing all the nomination-y stuff. Strap in. Nominations for the Executive Committee 2019-2020. Nominations for the Executive Committee will be open until GA4. Their presentations will be in GA5, and then we'll do the elections in GA6. The chair will now accept nominations for the Executive Committee. Are there any nominations? Yeah, Crystal.
So, guys, friends, I would like to nominate Kate for IVSA for the position of State General Secretary.
Kylie, do you accept?
Yes.
nominations? Yes.
I'm Andres Papas from IVSA Tesori, and I nominate Maria Joseph from IVSA Budapest for committee coordinator.
Do you accept?
Yes.
Yay.
Where are you?
It's here.
Oh, great. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed. They'll be open again in the next GA. Next, nominations for Secretariat 2019-2020. Nominations for Secretariat have the same schedule. They're open until GA4, presentations in GA5, and elections in GA6. The chair will now accept nominations for Secretariat. Are there any nominations? Yes.
I would like to nominate Sean Sum.
One more time. Can you say it one more time?
Sean Sum.
Sean Sam.
Yep.
Yeah. Giving the microphone to us.
Hello, I would like to nominate Sean Sum from IVSA UK.
State your name.
He did, Jack Chan.
Good.
You did it correctly. Don't let them bully you. Yeah.
Until Gina, I will say, trust, you can't nominate someone from your own country, from your own MO.
Yeah.
Is that in the bylaws?
No, it's not rules of order.
Yeah, they've done it. Okay, that sounds like a parliamentary inquiry, so someone needs to make it. Daniel.
Daniel Lund, IVSA Exco Parliamentary Inquiry. I would like to know whether or not a person from an MO can nominate another person from their own MO for a position.
Excellent. Brandon, look that up. While Brandon looks that up, are there any other nominations? Okay, then we're just gonna hang out for a minute. Brandon really needs this, thank you.
What? Already?
We'll see if they come back.
Oh, I think he does. Can you do all those things already?
Yeah. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Put the link in for the Google Drive.
Okay. Okay, we're back.
Of the emergency. Yeah.
So the parliamentarian
What
has
happened to the
reported
files?
that it is recommended in our bylaws
The link for the
that
Google Drive.
you do not nominate someone from your country, but Robert's
Oh, you
Rules
want
of
to be
Order
like,
doesn't actually relate to
appear
country specifically, it's just about running meetings. So there is nothing in Robert's Rules about that, and the nomination stands, but we need to know that Sean Sum accepts the nomination. Jordan.
Jordan Egan, IVSA Trust. I accept the nomination on behalf of Sean Sum for the role of Secretary.
Great, excellent.
Secretary. Secretary, not. Yeah.
Can you just like
We're good.
do it from the first again?
Okay.
You have to like.
Are there any other nominations?
Redoing it again from the first time, and then you have to like.
Hearing none,
copy-paste
nominations
the
are closed. They'll be
link
open
first,
again in
and
the
then
next GA.
all the caption. That will.
No, it's not working.
So I
There we
just
go.
put the, yep.
Now, nominations for trust 2019-2020.
Okay.
Nominations for trust have the same schedule. The chair will now accept nominations for trust. Are there any nominations? You'll have to choose someone eventually. Okay. Hearing none, nominations are closed. They'll be open again later. Don't worry about it. Next, nomination for chairs of committees and working groups 2019-2020. Same schedule. The chair will now accept nominations for committee and working group chairs. Are there any nominations? Yes. They really want you out of the microphone.
From the top. Julia Neves, IVSA Switzerland. I would like to nominate Andreas Papas for Chair of Standing Committee on One Health.
Do you accept?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations? Charlotte. The other Charlotte.
Charlotte Brandon, Secretariat. I would like to nominate Julie Meekin for Chair of Working Group on Online.
Julie, do you accept?
I accept.
Okay, any other nominations for chairs? Yes, Brandon.
Brandon Nettles.
You have to stand up, Brandon. Repeat it.
Brandon Nettles, IVSA Satma. I nominate Tavishi Panga for the Standing Committee on
Working group.
That's not what it's called.
Working group alumni.
Send that one. Okay. Tavishi, do you accept whatever that was?
Yeah.
It is ready.
Everybody breathe. Settle down. It's gonna be okay. No need to rush. Okay. Any other nominations for chairs of committees and working groups? Seeing none, nominations are closed. They'll be open again in the next GA. Now, nominations for the 69th IVSA Symposium, December 2020, January 2021. That's a loud bag. Nominations are open until GA4. Are there any nominations for the 69th IVSA Symposium? As I've done at the past 2 events, I will point out one of you has to do it.
Oh, serious? Yeah, because we will have a person.
I will come around and ask you individually.
My extension officer. My extension officer will give a presentation, but not me.
I will.
Yeah, sure.
The chair will.
I don't
Sorry, I'm not supposed to say
We have
the
a
chair will.
Let's go.
Is that a real? Hey, guess what? You're out of order. No one called on you, Kristen. Nor will we be calling on you again. Okay, any nominations? Seeing none, nominations are closed. They'll be open again in the next GA. Now, nominations for the 70th IVSA Congress, July-August 2021. The chair will now accept nominations for the 70th IVSA Congress. Are there any nominations?
7.
That is shocking.
Really?
Alrighty then, nominations are closed. They'll be open again in the next GA. And now we're going to continue with GA session 1 onwards. Magda, isn't this when you want to break? GA 1 onwards.
Oh my God, now?
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion to go into recess for 15 minutes. Ina, is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections to going into recess? Hearing none, we're in recess. Recess means you are allowed to leave the room, but please be back in 15 minutes because we will start with or without you.
It's going faster than me. So, not more.
Oh, it's quite a small thing to do. Until what time is this yet?
I think 1.
So we're going to present our gonna present our shop.
Here, look at that shit.
So
We are literally good.
Thanks, Aaron.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's fast, and you're completely.
That was my job.
You're blushing.
my job. Used to be. Oh, wait. So where did you guys saw this in the Bible?
We found it in the Constitution. It literally says if they're not sent without prior notice, it has to be a written vote.
Okay, for discussing proposal. To discuss.
How do we do that?
Is this
Unanimously resolves to entertain a motion for the amendment. The vote to entertain the motion will
Guys,
be.
there is a coffee break down there where
how
you
many
can
values
breakfast.
is
So feel free to
It's
have
free.
coffee
It's all of
and
them. Because none of them were sent out 30 days prior.
okay? So we need to then print written ballots.
Yeah, but I would say that we can write amendments and then have that into all of it.
Okay. I say just to discuss it. Just for the option to discuss it, not to approve it.
Daniel, exactly what was it that you wanted to talk about now?
No, I asked if we needed something, like if there was something.
I don't think so.
No, that's just what I asked. Because I
Sorry,
didn't
I
know.
thought you meant like.
No, I just didn't know if it was a like general.
Oh, no, it's just.
No, no, and it's
You don't need me for anything, right?
so we can just
I'll be with you in a second. Yeah.
just
Oh,
figuring it out.
okay.
So it's gonna happen.
So the written ballot just for the option to discuss it, not to approve it, right? To open discussion.
No, actually, to
Okay, now I'm with you.
I don't
Where's
know how
Maria?
exactly it needs to be worded. May also be amended. Entertain a motion for the amendment.
Provide that the GA unanimously resolves to entertain a motion for the amendment. Kind of like it happened for you.
It sounds like shit.
That makes a lot of sense.
No, it's
For the motion.
maybe I should just ask him to do it because he thinks this is enough. Then if the discussion counts as good enough.
The written ballot is like just to make it available for us to propose, discuss, and vote on.
We have to actually do it.
But then we also have to have voting ballots to vote to approve it. And can we just say any approve?
No, as soon as we do this, we can
Then it's
discuss
open and approve it by means of either objections or voting cards.
Yes, then we can continue as usual. We just need a voting ballot unanimous voting ballot. So if just one person says a mark in the wrong box, this is shit.
So then it has to be then presented to Robert.
Yeah, if people are not.
Okay, so we'll just make it clear then. But that's only in the
top box. Honorable member.
Let's make it a PDF thing online, and then we just doesn't give access to that. So we can only click the one.
It doesn't really say anything about it.
Actually, do they usually print it out?
It will be easier. But that's only in the end, like the last two.
Yeah, it's the last point, the last 3 points. I didn't know you were gonna add a fucking agenda point. I asked, hey, anyone's gonna add an agenda point? Because mine was pretty late. I had to then just edit which number mine was.
Oh. No, because I no use. I thought I can present it with my presentation. But
nope.
Just need my laptop.
Itunya di email nggak ya? Di email public relation email enggak ding ya terus itu jadiin dua page tapi di tahun ini no lah saat meeting kan masih awal-awal event report tapi dia di bagian akhir kan banyak event report sama lain IVSA lihat aja nanti di cek aja
Thank you for explaining it.
Is there anything to make it about it? Or is there nothing about nominating? All of the nominating other members to secretary. Because like there's an exco nominee section and there's a secretary nominee section. There's the mention. And then it's just no, but it has to do with nominating rules. So people, it's just like a group of people can run off of Robert's rules. It has something to do with changing it. So normally it's usually just like board of directors meeting where no one has voting entities. It's just one. This came up in Poland. We looked it up then too. It's just always been a tradition IVSA to follow. But then it's not written down. But it's an explanatory. Yeah, but then it would still be the same. It's a recommendation. We can't stop them from doing it. But unless you want it to be a bylaw, and I need to put it written in black. I think it's a really good thing. I think it's a good thing. I enforce it to do it kind of pointless. I don't think that. But anyway, I mean, I just remember like people always said, I don't know, because like it's also right. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. No, I agree. Like, people are still going to do that. It's just then they're going to sound like rather, I think skills people are going to do it.
Like I was saying, Malaysia, not part of
I think just the garage back down the road from Metro. We can be back in like 5 minutes. Okay.
Need to be better funded.
I think so. I don't know, Perry, I don't know what time you learned that.
Let's go down there and see what they say.
Yeah, let's go down there.
They sold
Slide on in and go in for the meeting. So, thank you.
I did. I'm the only one, and I don't carry on. Like, I'm super, I didn't take it out.
That is something like, is there no other place? Don't think I do. I didn't see. Please, this will change. I'll tell you where in the previous
I could say what I love that.
What did they vote against the
Was GA2 is today? No, that's GA1.
No, we have two GA sessions.
No, mine is two.
That is what's in the
Oh, no, just before the violence. You think we'll be able to?
They wanted my team.
do it now.
No, oh, yeah, we can print it now. Yeah. This is going to explain.
Otherwise, I can just.
No, we can actually. Yes. To postpone that one until.
We can't change the.
We can't change the table it until some point. I will.
But I'm trying to put it with the other boiler.
No, because it has to be before this. I can approve this budget without a flat line.
And it's currently
the only reason it's here is because I thought it was good to give people some time to, like, if they want this discussion, they actually have some time between those two, so I can change so I don't have to say that's the only reason. Yes, but that's only when we reach that point, so I'm going to say to actually discuss any of the bylaw amendments, we have to do a written ballot vote.
For the
For any of them, when they're not sent out with.
Oh yeah.
There should have to be a written ballot vote stated in the Constitution.
I know.
No, I'm just
the one who started this
we have to do.
conversation. I knew that.
Okay, so then
I knew this.
And then we're just saying that we should table table my bylaw amendment until GA3.
Right,
because
right
with-
now it doesn't make like it's all of them are the same. All of them are treated the same, kind of.
Don't you why are you meeting?
No, okay.
We just spoke to her.
Okay, so I will then just briefly explain what we're voting on.
Yes.
Because I'm not going to give my presentation, the whole presentation. Just want to explain what we're voting on and how it's going to
Yes.
be.
We're going to have to discuss it later.
It's just gonna be me.
We can do it when we go over the slides.
And then we can just find, we can
Yeah,
just
so
go
after
through
the,
it.
I mean, just before the. I feel like we should be at the workshop anyway. So just as.
Yeah, we can.
Yes, and then we can just stay there and discuss it. Perfect. And then that's another tick box. No, you know what? Like, I didn't like them, and they. You remember how we found common ground and it was like a moment. And since then, it's been fine. I'm really glad they
Okay, let me just try to. It's like the new committee. Great.
I don't like when he's nominated. I'm like, what? All these nominations, you
I was talking about the new committee, but yeah, you want to go to the next year, but that makes sense. It's like the next year. And you don't need to travel a lot, but it's also good to and you want to.
I'm scared about everything that's I'm scared that I won't be able to give it.
You mean Exco? Yeah.
But I don't want to just leave everything that we have worked on with software stuff. I feel like, and even if I just work on it this year, just to get a structure, everything will be good for us. Yeah. How do you feel about it?
I'm not happy about it.
I'm just very fun with things, but I'll figure it out.
Just like all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually. At least you know that you have to do something. You have it.
Were you hoping I was standing for something? Huh? Were you hoping that I was standing for something?
Yeah. It's not like
Yeah, but I have to until GA5 to make a final decision.
I don't want to.
Because sometimes I feel yes, it's different, and other times I'm like,
But I think you would prioritize those two instead of the live meetings.
I think Nacho most of South Africa.
yeah, he did actually.
He did.
No, he wasn't that.
Yeah, and there was Ivan. He was
Ivan.
he was the treasurer from you. Treasurer, like he didn't go to the Congress itself.
Yeah, he did, but not killed.
I don't know that term.
I remember.
So yeah. I mean, it happened. My sister.
But for me,
yeah, it was just my sister was an emoji a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I saw your. I think I saw your sister thing through my Korean old EO account.
Probably.
They all. I don't know if it was he or she, but if you say it's your sister, she also has the same last name. So
What?
Salah.
And
Left
last
with the
name. So,
same.
yeah, so I was like, okay, Miriam has the same word. I was
Yeah, she's
like,
my
maybe
sister.
Fabio one.
Yeah, no, but if there's one that I'm going to be able to make, it's a first.
Have we done? Exactly.
I thought
In
you
January.
said you have like
Starting from now.
I haven't met a but I did plan to go visit my sister and help me for that month, for those 2 weeks.
Just send Brian.
No, he said he'll go. He said that he'll run, and I was like, well, I'm gonna run. And he said, he'll run.
It's been like 1 hour. They don't know the true me. I'm a jerk. Miriam don't. They can be wrong.
We're gonna fill this up.
We say 15 minutes, we made an hour and a half. Do you need to do the finances again? We're back in full close. It's fun for a minute. No, we had a year off of it. You want to after a year, you're going, I don't want to do it again. That was remember when we did stuff together? And Brandon. We just made Laura. Laura would be great if she's the strategic plan. Yes, I mean she presented. She's a chair. She sent me many messages. The finances section. Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna do it. Should be. I thought you meant general assembly chair. I don't know how great she is. She's a little strict. I feel her too, but just like for you, if you were there, would all be like, why are you fucking? When you go and chat with her, she's like, so nice. Yeah. The other part is that like it's also
Did you just hit me? Oh, you hit me, and I hit me. You're very.
It's just water.
Just hit me.
Did you really run? You very good.
It's not that far.
Be careful.
I wouldn't really drink everything. I personally wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Where's
I like
Hi everyone, we're basically ready to start, so if you can please start moving to your countries, taking your seats, quietening down, please. And if those of you who are outside can hear us, please start getting the people inside so we can start the game.
Oh, you're so lucky you have someone running.
I just approached someone. She wants to run.
Oh really? Who's this?
And I just talked to Laura Cohen, from the RCC.
Yes.
Oh, well, all of them are. Let's go.
She ran for secretary info.
Yeah.
Oh, is she planning on running for you or not?
No, I just proposed that you should go to Expo because this like at least we have
Okay, people on the outside, please move in,
So
please
she's
sit
interested.
down.
I just promote your position.
As long as I don't have to do it again. I can't.
I don't want
I refuse.
I want to do something else with your life. It's about time.
It's been fun, but
Yeah,
no.
I know.
I'm old. Not as old as you, but
Can you guys at the back hear me when I speak of this one?
but you're on the other side
Well,
of
we
25.
are going to change this.
I'm in the middle.
I'm doing
I'm
this
just
now.
gonna
I'm
pretend
so
to be
big.
Carrie for a second.
Actually in the middle. Like I'm
You're my favorite.
and
Actually, on this side.
yeah.
Okay, can everyone at the back hear me clearly if I'm just talking normally?
Guys, please be quiet for a second so that you
hear that.
Yeah, you can't hear this microphone here, can you? Yeah, but I'm trying to be Perry here.
You have to speak into the front.
Let you try.
Can you guys hear the microphone now? No, because I can hear the microphone in the back of my mind, but yeah, all right, fine.
Alright, we'll keep
Back of my head. I had a fixed up yesterday.
I feel like I experienced something and I'm not still at no
I don't know either. I'm just looking at pictures. I'm like, I don't want to say yeah.
Look at me being very comfortable.
Mau ngopi dulu nggak?
Because I need to kind of explain what each of them does and how they. I'm like,
You don't like that?
don't run. Yeah, don't run.
Come on.
Coba nggak tahu kamu mau minah.
Enggak, kamu tadi maksudnya kamu mindahin aku.
Minahin data-datanya.
Enggak, kamu tadi udah
Ya, apa?
You can minah.
So rude. I'm sitting next to Andre.
Oh.
What's your
Worse than he does.
Yes.
Miriam doesn't love us. She's like
Yeah.
isolated little island.
And another level. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, while they're sorting out microphones, can I please get everyone's attention?
Not to Daniel.
So we just for logistics on the logistics side of things. If we say that there is a 15-minute break, please try to stick to 15 minutes. The reason for that is if we do not finish the GAs in the times that were allocated, some of your activities will be cut and you will be forced to be here for GAs in the activity time period. So if you are not quick with going outside, going to the bathroom, getting a cup of coffee, and then coming back inside, then you will miss out on other activities. Do we all understand that? Can I get a nod? Okay, so please, when we say 15 minutes, try to go outside, do your things, and then come back in, just to try to save up as much time as we possibly can. Okay, thank you very much.
Next up, an announcement from your treasurer, Daniel. If your MO has not paid membership fees, you can pay them to him in cash here.
Euros only.
Euros only. Or you could at least come talk to him about why you didn't pay.
The list is on the delegate group. I will post it again.
He's going to repost the list just to shame you. All right. Jack, you ready? Can we get ready? How's everybody doing? It is cool. Jackie, you seem ready now. Okay, the chair calls the GA back to order at 11:27 a.m. Crack out time. Next.
And not really.
Oh my God, I'm back in Poland.
Yeah. I think at the same time.
Poland happy. You guys want to go home already? Okay, next up on the agenda, presentation on IVSA activities. To start off, I believe it's Magda. Magda? Strategic plan? Who does that?
The committee.
Strategic planning committee. Someone can talk about it.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Okay, so I'm quickly just going to introduce the Strategic Planning Committee, and then I'm going to just quickly explain to you what we've been doing, and then how we're going to be giving it and delivering the information to you. So first of all, there's Meg, who's the Animal Welfare Chair, but was also on the Strategic Planning Committee. Anya, Brandon, myself, and then somebody that's not here, unfortunately, is Laura Jura, who is the chair of, and Ranjit from Nepal. But unfortunately, both of them couldn't be there or be here. So just a quick overview. So this is a second strategic planning committee. The first one was formed 5 years ago in Indonesia. And the point of the strategic plan is there to create goals for IVSA to achieve so that IVSA as an organization grows. And the strategic plan is created, or the strategic planning committee is created every 5 years. So this was the second one, and in 5 years' time, another one will be formed. And in essence, what the main goal is purely just to deliver or write up what IVSA should, in essence, be looking like in the next 5 years. So it is really important, and we really do want all of your guys' inputs. We've received a lot of the inputs from the officials, past members, but this is your time to give your input on the strategic plan and what you guys think IVSA should look like in the next 5 years. You guys are the future of IVSA. So the reason we have different members from different regions is purely so that we can get different perspectives going forward. So we, as a strategic planning committee, formed 2 different documents. We'll only present one document to you guys, and that will be a short version, which is about 5 years. Is it on the drive? Okay, you guys all received the document. It was about 5 pages long. I'll ask Andre to also put it onto the Google Drive if you guys can't find it in your emails. What we're going to do is we're going to break it up because it is fairly long and it is not incredibly detailed, but it's fairly detailed. In order to keep you guys' attention, we're going to break the delivery of it up into 3 different portions. So we'll do a bit now, a bit later, and a bit tomorrow. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use the buddy hours, and we're going to set up times for you guys to come to us as a strategic planning committee, talk to us, raise any issues or concerns. We're then going to take all your issues, your comments, and your concerns, put it all together, and then we'll come back to you guys later on in the Congress and deliver what we hope would be the final one, and then we'll have the discussion at that point. So for the time being, I'm going to this off the committee will deliver different parts. So I think first part, okay, so these are the 8 sections. So the first section is documentation. So we're going to deal with documentation, external representations and partners, and finances today. We're then going to deal with OIA now. After lunch, we'll deal with Congress and Symposiums Development Fund. And right at the end, tomorrow we'll probably deal with member organizations, public relations and communication and structure of IVSA. Oh, and there's one more, there's number 9, which is committees. I'm not too sure why that's. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Is it just, okay. So there's 9 points, not 10 points. And as you can see, there's 1 point missing. So it's committees. So we'll deal with them in blocks of 3. So to start off, we'll be doing documentation. So Anya will talk you through documentations. I think if there's any points of clarity, Chair, can we do it after each section and get questions? Absolutely. Okay, thank you.
Hi everyone. So I would like to tell you something about a documentation focused area of the strategic plan. In this focused area, we wanted to focus on 2 main points, and this is IVSA documentation online and membership database. So the documentation online, and we would like to have all the constitution, bylaws, manual, everything to be accessible and available online for all IVSA members. Of course, it is already online on IVSA wiki page, so just feel free to read it and take a look at it, but it needs an update, so that's why we decided to place it in the strategic plan. What else we would like to do for the documentation is the database with all IVSA records, like EO reports, like international events, for example, this one, Congress Symposium, so that all of it can be accessible for all our members, but also for our partners and sponsors, because it will just give you more opportunities. And
is that yellow or orange? Yellow. You want it louder?
Slower.
Slower. Okay, sorry. I'll slow down then. Okay.
Slow down, please.
Okay. Slowing down. The other point that we wanted to focus on in this documentation focused area is membership database.
this is kind of new idea that we discussed throughout all the year with the strategic plan and other officials. And this is a tool that we would like to create in the future. We would like advise IVSA to create this database with basically all IVSA MOs, all IVSA members, and this is very needful for management of the member organizations, for the MOD, but also for like screening processes, for Congress and symposia, for choosing members of committees, for scholarships, and also it will allow us to make statistics that we can, for example, present to our sponsors and partners. That's why it is so important. So these are the two main points in the documentation focus area that we would like to advise. Any questions? Should we move on? Okay, so partners and external representations, Brandon.
So this section is mostly talking about all of our different partners, sponsors, everyone that IVSA does some kind of business with. The 4 points here, the first one is continuity of communication, which is just kind of a main idea about how things are handed over and different communication points need to be handed over effectively and not forgotten about. Continuing to explore new partnerships, potential partners. There's tons of different professional organizations and companies and stuff out there, and kind of having an effective management strategy on how to continue to approach them. And then kind of similar with some of the documentation stuff that Anya mentioned, transparency. It's just making sure that the stuff that we have available is accessible to not just our own members, but outside organizations, so we can tell them about what we do, how we do it, when we do it. And then professional organizations, this would be, in the States, we have the ABMA, you have FEE in Europe, you have major multinational organizations like OIE, WHO, and just continuing to maintain the partnerships we have now, explore others, and doing it in kind of an organized way to where we don't lose focus on other things, but it's also not forgotten about. Any questions on this section? Okay, cool. Here's Meg.
Thank you. So I will talk about money. So obviously finances are a big part of what IVSA does. It helps us to do the work which we do. So we've highlighted 4 different areas of finances that we want to consider moving forward. So the reserve fund, which we want to have as a separate account to the main IVSA global account. And we aim that this should have the ability to sustain the IVSA at minimum capacity for at least 2 years. Also transfer fees, I'm sure all aware, can be quite costly just to transfer money between countries. So we want moving forward the Treasurer to look into diverse options. We can try and reduce this for delegates as well as IVSA when we are providing refunds and paying for different things in different countries. Membership fees, this ties into the membership portal that Anna kindly described. So we hope to eventually not only will this be for IVSA to look at our members and be able to share information and for you to get information, but also to help facilitate the payment of fees for different member organisations. With regards to accounting, we want to invest in quality bookkeeping software and pursue training for the Treasurer to utilise the software. So obviously it's quite a big role. We want to make sure it's all managed correctly and as well as it can be.
Okay, we'll be back later to go over the rest of it. We kind of want to give everyone time to digest it. Come ask us questions later. We'll be back later for the next 3 sections. So I move to table this discussion.
Are there any objections to tabling this discussion? Hearing none, it's tabled. Charlotte, it's your turn. Development Aid Director of Data.
guys. I'm Charlotte. I'm the Development Aid Director of IVSA Global. And first wanted to start about the Development Fund itself, because we've got a lot of new people in the room as well. So Development Fund's biggest aim and purpose is to give support and resources to developing vet schools in underprivileged countries. This way, they give students all over the world the chance to improve their veterinary education, knowledge, and skill set, which they could help the animals they care for and their communities with. So that's basically the main thing that the Development Fund does. And then we've got several projects that I'm going to take you through. The first one is going to be the IVSA Scholarship Grant. This grant is given away twice a year. It's a scholarship grant of €1,000, which allows the winning student to do an internship or veterinary placement of their choosing. This way, that student will have a lot of more experience, skill set, and knowledge again, which they normally might not be able to get at their own country. So this year's winners are Anissa, Desmond, Subash, Benjamin, Camille, and Kate. So yeah, I'm very happy, and congratulations to the winners. They're unfortunately not here tonight. They did a really good job. So if you're interested in doing an internship abroad and you're struggling yourself, don't be afraid to apply next October, because then we're going to have this year that we're giving that one. The Hills Next Generation Award is a scholarship of €1,750 to participate at a WASAVA Congress, and has been won by Richard from IVSA Kumasi, Ghana. So congratulations, Richard, and we hope you enjoy the Congress. And then the next is the reduced fee spots. As you might know, the OC gives away reduced fee spots as well, to give more students a chance to attend the congresses and symposia of IVSA. The Development Fund gives away reduced fee spots as well. And this year's reduced fee spots winners are Yoko and Natasha, and Zain and Jana, and they are here, so congratulations. So the reduced fee spots are also sponsored by the DF, and it's originally from a budget that we had a couple of years ago, and that comes to the next point, which is the membership fee fund. This is also originally budgeted a couple of years ago, and we're trying to set that up this year again. So the membership fee fund is intended for one membership fee for at least one MO. It's mostly for newly MOs or MOs that are struggling financially. So yeah, if you go to Daniel and explain, you can talk about that maybe as well. But we're going to give more information about that in August, and we're opening that up for next financial year. So if you have questions about that, don't hesitate to ask us about it. Then coming up to our projects, the first project is the Mission Rabies project. This was a project originated from Mission Rabies, and the Development Fund has sponsored in it. So what we did was sponsoring a couple of students, mainly one, but fortunately a lot of more students could attend as well. So they did a survey about the dog population in the region, Kumasi, Ghana. And they talked to all the owners and the people in their society, what they knew about rabies, and if they took precautions. Out of that survey, Mission Rabies was able to set up a vaccination campaign and an educational tour which was very, very helpful, and we're very glad that we were able to participate in that part. The next project is Vetbooks for Africa. So we organized a fundraising week in November to enable Vetbooks for Africa to sponsor them to go on their trip. And I'm not sure which one of the MOs are here, but if you are, please stand up, because I would like a round of applause for IVSA Berlin, IVSA Warsaw, IVSA South Africa, IVSA Germany, and IVSA Liverpool for their donation and participation. So thanks to them, we raised 841.26 euros. The DF promised to double it. We made it up to 3,000 euros in total to enable Vetbooks for Africa to do their good work. So I'm very proud of you. Thank you very much again. I can't say it enough. So Vetbooks for Africa goes on a trip once in 2 years, every 2 years. And they donate Vetbooks, surgical equipment, and other needed equipment for veterinary work at remote faculties, sanctuaries, and animal rehabilitation centers. So it's amazing work that they do. And on their tour, they were kind enough to promote IVSA more, so hopefully we will gain a lot more MOs and members out of it. So I would like to show you a little bit more about their work. So I'm going to show you a little video. Yeah, I'm not sure how to click on it, so I need help. Guys?
It's open on.
Is it not on?
Okay, enjoy.
There's not really any sound.
There might be sound, you don't know.
We had sound first. Wow.
The helpful guy isn't here.
1 second, guys being technical.
Sure that
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. No.
Yeah.
It needs the music.
Okay. I'm sorry, because of technical issues, we're gonna play it another time. Hopefully later today, but Perry will make sure we do with sound. So in that case, I'll just move on with the presentation. So we would like to have you all involved in this, or just check the projects out, because they really, really do a lot of work. And if you are interested in organizing an event later on, or helping and contributing to this cause, we will send on a document on the delegates group tonight about more information on how to contribute. And the video will be shown later. So the next project of the Development Fund is the Philippines Bereaved Project. This project is set up to help the faculty in Bereaved build up a surgical room. And we have donated 10,000 euros worth of veterinary equipment. And we would like to thank the PVMA for helping us with setting up the contracts and finding a proper company to donate. So at this point, we're finishing up the contracts and we're hoping to have everything sent out this month. So yeah, I'm very happy with that progress in this project. Woo! And thank you. Yes. And then we've got 3 other projects. I didn't make a whole page out of it because it's smaller. So the Ohio State vet book donation, they donated vet books to a good cause, and it's going to IVSA Namibia. We're just sorting out how to get the vet books there at this point. So we're a little bit stuck at that due to holidays and stuff like that. So I'm hoping we'll finish that in the next DAD term. And then we've got the Henry Schein Microscopes project, which is officially not Henry Schein anymore. It's Henry Schein changed to Covetrus. So due to their structural changes, this project has had a lot of difficulties. And I am very hopeful that the people that were on this project will still try their hardest to finish it, but it will take a lot more time than we expected. And the final project is a new one, and it's a book donation from the SAVA. And we're planning, we receive a lot of the SAVA books that are still very accurate. So we're very grateful to the SAVA for this, and we're planning to donate a big amount to one university and have the smaller amount of books as gifts or other donations. So that's the SAVA project. So then we've got a few other things going on with the development fund. One of them is the IVSA Be Kind Award. And that's an award given away once a year to a top MO or individual that has shared a lot and cared a lot with IVSA. Meaning that these persons have shared a lot of Facebook posts, were very involved, and donated money to the development fund. So we wanted to give them an extra thank you. Last year's winner was IVSA Lyon, but the winner of 2019 IVSA Warsaw, Poland. Congratulations. So we also have a few individuals. Okay. The Ashish, Dauda, and Sihita. Sorry for the pronunciation. But they're unfortunately not here today, so I will contact them online. For IVSA Warsaw, please come to me later on this Congress because we've got a present for you. Okay. So what to do to get these nice presents as well yourself? So the IVSA Be Kind Award is actually an award. Once I said already, if you organize an event and donate money to the development, you'll score a lot of points. And another way is to share our posts on Facebook and preferably include the hashtag BeKindIVSA to spread the word. So yeah, next winners, it could be you, 2020 next Congress. So moving on to the live and silent auctions. These are the main fundraising events for the development fund. So all the projects mentioned before couldn't have been done without your help. So the silent auction is on day 3, between 9 and 10:30, and the live auction is at day 5, between 8:30 and 11. It are really, really nice events, and I'm very, very grateful to you all for donating so many items already. Like, it's amazing. I'm very happy, especially the liquor. Thank you. I'll enjoy it tonight. No. And I have one more announcement. I'm very sorry that I was rushing you to bring the items, but since we've quite short on time. I really needed most of it last night. If you still have items here, please bring them to me between 7 and 8 tonight. Just so right before everyone will enjoy each other's cultures. So don't forget, bring your items between 7 and 8 because that's the last time I can receive your items. I'll be at the DAD stand. If it's nice weather, it will be outside. If it's not that nice, it will be in front of this room. Okay. And then we've got another thing is the VetPD raffle. So VetPD is so kind to offering us gift vouchers at our events. We've got one gift voucher per event to give away to the winning student. It's a 1 day VetPD course of your own choosing. So it doesn't matter which country you want to attend. One ticket is €2 and 3 tickets is 5. So I would definitely recommend buying a few because check on their website. The courses are really cool. And the winner will be announced during formal dinner. So you have until then to buy your tickets. Wrong button. There it is. Moving on. Okay, so the DAD merchandise. The merchandise is going to be sold every day during the lunch break. Again, the DAD stand will depend on the weather. It's going to be outside today. So we've got a lot of nice t-shirts, hoodies, pins, phone cases, tumblers. So definitely come check what we've got in stock. And last but not least, we've got the scholarship task force. This was set up at South Korea. It's a task force compiled of students that are willing to help the development fund or the DAD and their team to score and all the applicants for the scholarships. It's a very rewarding and nice job to do, and it's being a part of this team. So if you are interested in joining the next scholarship task force, it's going to be open at the 15th of August, and it's going to close at the 1st of September for the new term. So more information will follow on Facebook soon, and yeah, check the IVSA DAD website for it. And then I've got one final note, because it's, of course, election time at Congress. So I wanted to tell you a little bit more about my function itself, because now you've heard a lot about the projects that the DAD runs. But I think as DAD itself, you need to be flexible and enthusiastic, and you actually need to be able to plan a little bit, but you can learn that quite quickly, as did I, because I was horrible at it. I lied, sorry guys. No. So why is a DAD a job you might like to run for? I think it's mainly because you're actually working with the companies that try to reach the same goals as you. And you really get the contact up close with the people you're working and helping. So I think it's really rewarding to see that you can make a difference. And that's actually what you receive if you're working as DAD. Even if it's only one person's, I think making the difference is worth the work that you have to put into it. So yeah, make a change. That's it, thank you.
Okay, next up. MOD, Javishi.
Vichy. I've been the MOD this year, and I couldn't have done it without my 3 wonderful secretaries. So before I start saying what we've been up to, I just want them to stand up, and I want to give them a bit of a hand for doing such amazing work this year. So it's Anya, Ryan, and Thomas. So yeah, they've been really great. A bit about the role. So the MOD role is basically in charge of all the MOs. I think it's a really important role because I personally believe without you guys, without the members, without the MOs, IVSA would be nothing. So it's a really important role, and I'll tell you a bit about some of the work we've been doing. So I'm going to just quickly run through these things in a little bit more detail. So IVSA Global is consisted of 170 local MOs, 12 national MOs, 2 supranational MOs in the UK and South. There's 66 countries in 7 continents. Unfortunately, there are no vessels in Antarctica. Oh well.
As long as it doesn't have like.
So this year we actually allowed in 6 new MOs in Symposium. So that was Algeria, Constantine, Romania, Yash, Australia, Queensland, India, Mumbai, Lithuania, and Pakistan, which is actually 2 new countries as well. So part of the job is reaching out to these countries where they don't have IVSA, explaining a little bit about what IVSA is, how they get involved, all the amazing benefits there is, and trying to get them to apply with applications, which you'll see a bit later on. We've got 7 new MOs running for acceptance this Congress, so hopefully you'll see them later. So one of the main tasks at the beginning is the official list. As I said, there are 170 MOs, and each MO has a president, an exchange officer, a whole board, an email address, term dates. And the first job is to collect all of this information at the beginning of the year and get them on the EOs and President's Facebook page, which I'll tell you a little bit more about. And also set up those without emails with emails. So that's with a big hand from from the PRC. So that's a big role of ours. I'll just talk to you a little bit about the colours and what they mean. So this is done alongside the treasurer. There are basically 5 categories. Each MO can be sort of assigned to. Green is when you're full, you've got a full membership and you've paid the fee this term, and you're allowed to vote. Voting comes when you attended, well, your MO has attended a whole GA. Then there's blue, which is the same as green, but they haven't paid their fee this term or last term. So you have a 2-year grace period. After that, if you don't pay, you become grey and you are terminated. The other 2 are the candidate sections. One has paid, one has not. So that's yellow and orange. Candidate members don't have voting rights, as I mentioned before. So the Facebook groups, our 2 main ones are the IVSA EOs and Presidents page. So all the EOs and Presidents we like to have on this page. Loads of interesting information gets shared all the time. If you're not on this page, please Google it now and get on it. So I announced the EO bulletin on this page. Each MO can share information about their board, about their activities, if they want to look for group exchanges. It's a really good hub of information for IVSA. What's new this year is I've made a IVSA members worldwide page. I found that there was a sort of delay or like a block in information reaching members. It can happen for a variety of reasons, but basically I don't want any member not using opportunities IVSA has, because there are so many grants, scholarships, opportunities, individual exchanges. So again, if you're not on this page, please go on, answer the questions, and share. So this is also a hub for members for social activities. So we've already had posts about IVSA members visiting other countries, asking who's around, who can show me around, making connections and using this amazing network of ex-students around the world that we have. And we are nearly at 2,000 members, which isn't too bad considering we've only been open for like a couple of months. We're growing. And the IVSA, I'll tell you about the news later. So also social media-wise, what's new this year is we've made the MOD Instagram. This is really to show off the amazing work that you guys have been doing. So we've been finding out about the exchanges and activities, local activities, workshops, lectures, things like that each MO has been doing. And if we think they're really good, we want to shout about it. We want to show off what you guys have been doing. So that's what that page is all about. So again, if you haven't followed it, please give us a like, send us pictures of things you're doing, share your work. We really want to shout about the amazing stuff you're doing. So one of the big tasks as well for the MOD team is to make the EO bulletin. So this is basically a collection of all the information that month. So as you know, lots of things can happen in a month. So many scholarships, grants, and it can get really confusing. So every month I send out a bulletin to the EOs by email and also on their president's and EO page. And that you can see it contains all the upcoming events, deadlines, grants, committee news from our lovely standing committees, news from sponsors. So we have loads of cool collaborations you can get involved with, competitions and all sorts of stuff like that. And also new this year, again with the members page, I've started making a members newsletter. So this you can sign up to as an individual. If you go on the link at the very bottom, you can click subscribe. So in the next newsletter that gets released will go straight to your email if you wish. However, it does get posted on the members page every month, and it's set in the announcements will be at the top. So again, you can find out all these information at your convenience. So one of the projects we started last year was the individual exchange database. Loads of people know group exchanges, MOs do, but not many people know about individual exchanges. It's not actually an exchange as per se, it's more a placement abroad using our lovely network that we have. So the way to do it is you look on the database, I'll show you the database in a minute, and see what's available in each country. So say you've got a couple of weeks off, you want to learn about small animals, you have a look, see which countries have a small animal placement. Then you fill in the individual application, which you can get from your EO or on the MO drive, and then you send that to your own EO. They need to sign it because that's to confirm your membership. Your own EO, the exchange officer, then will send it to whichever country you want to go to, and then it's that EO's job to source your placement and potentially help you find accommodation. We're all students, so surfing isn't too bad, and it means you can get a really cool placement, learn a great deal about a different country, the way they learn, they do education in that country for a really cheap price. Once you've done the placement, you go back home and you let your EO know that you've done it, and you write up a little report so that other members in your area, if they know you've done it, you can share it, and other members can take part in this cool opportunity. So, I should have preloaded it. Sorry. Maybe I'll show it later. Okay, not gonna happen. But basically, ask your EO if you're interested in this database. Come to me. I can send you the link. And it's basically got MOs on it, and you just click the MO. But click the region first, then you click the MO, and you can see what's available in that area. It's really cool. Again, we found from feedback that students are missing out on opportunities, missing out on applications, on deadlines. So we've got an IVSA calendar, which basically puts together all the things IVSA into one place. So if you want to know what's going on in the month, you can just go on here. And if you hover over any of the things on it, it comes up with all the information you need, so it'd be applications, scholarships, grants, but it's also got all the standing committee days and events on there too. So your MO never has to miss out. So I'm going to invite Thomas up here to talk a little bit about the certificates that he's been doing.
So one of the biggest tasks I had this year was the addition of the official IVSA certificates. That was just certificate to assume that you are EMOs and that you are members of the board of your local or national EMO. So this year I edit certificates for 81 EMOs. So it's almost 38 countries, and it means like more than 500 certificates, and I still miss a lot of you. So if you want to get your certificates, just send me an email with your board members and I will do it.
So thanks, Thomas. He's done over 500 certificates there. He's worked really hard. The next thing I want to invite Anya up. Sorry.
It's 500.
Yeah, and let's talk about the MO challenge. I hope the video will work this time. I'm not sure about this, but basically now time for some fun part. So alongside the wellness committee, we made MO challenge. Okay. Yeah, so MO Challenge was some fun activity for you guys. Basically, this year's challenge had the name Day in the Life, and we wanted all the MOs to basically show us what they are doing in their MOs, what is their lectures, daily activities at the universities, but also the fun part. They supposed to send us like 2-minute videos and show us their country and their life. So the winner of the MO challenge for this year is IVSA Brno, Czech Republic. Yeah. So claps for IVSA. You guys did great work. We don't have volume, so I don't know if I should play the video of music. Or okay, so we'll play later on, maybe with the Bed Books for Africa video. So thanks, guys. Let's move on. Yeah, evaluation report, and will it load? Oh, it actually does. Okay, that's good. So what's this? This is an evaluation survey. This is basically a survey that we are doing every time after every congress and symposium, and it will also happen after our great congress in Croatia. So be prepared for this. This is a survey, Google form, which all the delegates are able to fill out and give your input. Your input about the work of the OCDIM, work of EXCO and officials, also about the program of the event. Give us any comments or anything you would like to share with us. And basically this information we are sharing with future OCs, with future officials, and try to improve future events for all of you guys. There are a lot of data, but I will scroll to the part that I guess will interest you most. And this is symposium itself. Give me a moment. So symposium. During the symposium happened many optional tours, many activities, and they were very highly rated. As you can see, many delegates gave like 5 or 4 points. One was the lowest, of course, and for 5 points, delegates were very satisfied. There happened like a Korean calligraphy workshop, hiking, K-pop dance, cooking, yoga, visiting traditional Korean percussion quartet. So people liked it a lot. So good job, guys. Also from South Korea. As you can see, everything was rated very well. 5 was the biggest score. What people didn't really like was internet access, but unfortunately, technical issues, it happens. People especially love the calligraphy workshops. They also really like to be mixed in the room with other delegates from other countries. So this is also what's happening here in Croatia. Basically, let's integrate with other people from other vet schools. Yeah, the Wi-Fi should be a little better, but also GA after cultural night. Yeah, that was not the best idea to have GA at 8 in the morning. That's why this time we learned from the survey, and we'll have GA tomorrow in the afternoon, so you can be fresh and come to the GA and pay attention and enjoy the GA later. Okay, what people thought could be added to the itinerary? Seeing campus and clinics, because this is very enjoyable to see other vet school in other country. More buddy time. So we have a lot of buddy hours here in Croatia. You can also approach buddies all the time. So make a good use of your buddies, ask questions. You can find us everywhere. And the icebreaker, people would like to have more icebreakers. So hopefully today we're gonna have some nice icebreakers on the cultural night.
Okay, so that's basically a great job. Officials, great job. Also, people from South Korea. Thank you. Woo. Cheryl's listening in South Korea.
Okay.
There. Okay, so over the past couple of months, one of our biggest tasks was the EO reports. We received 55 from you guys, so thank you so much if you sent in your EO report. We use this information to rate the top exchange and the top MO, which will be announced a bit later with prizes. It's also really good feedback to hear from your MO about how things are run, how to improve things, how you guys would like more information from us, all sorts of stuff. So thank you so much for doing this. And this year we had a new template just to make it a bit more streamlined so that everyone's filling in exactly the same information, so we can make some stats from it and compare MOs and stuff and see which MOs might need more help and so forth. Also, from South Korea, we decided we're going to make an OC manual task force, and that has been put into work. So these are the people on the task force, and we're basically working to update the manual on the wiki page because we feel like the OC needs a bit more help how to run one of these massive events. They're so difficult, OC works so hard, and we just really want to give them all the information that they can have to make it an easy process. So that's something we're working on, and I'm really hoping that the new manual will be done before my term is over. So yeah, new OCs, whoever you are, you're going to have to run, so have a look at it. And then just some other things we've been up to. We have to confirm all the members for all the applications for events, so that takes up a nice chunk of our time. We've also, with help of PRC, made new promotional material for MOs to use. It's all on the MO Drive, which is accessible to your EOs and presidents, which is on the Facebook group. So there's like nice posters explaining what IVSA is and what the standing committees are and stuff like that you can put around your school to try and promote and recruit more members. One of the MOD jobs is also to stay in touch with the OCs. So I've been working quite closely with Croatia and then Morocco and Greece coming up, and just keep in touch with them, see how events are being run and all that. Also, it's my job to sort out the Expo live meetings. So we have 2 live meetings, which are outside Symposium and Congress. So I put out the call, and thank you guys so much for those of you who have applied for this. It's really nice to see how motivated you guys are, and it's really nice. So thanks, guys. Also, we do the Excellence Award, and that will be coming up a bit later in GA. So I'll tell you a bit more about that as it comes up. We also get loads of questions from members around the world over our Facebook and email accounts. So that's me and all my secretaries. So we've been trying to keep on top of those. And that's it. Thanks, guys. Questions?
Okay, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, so I'm Peter Villiers, the External Relations Officer for this term. Okay, so I'm just going to go through a couple of things that the job description entails of ERO. So basically, the main goals is, first of all, external relations. So we need to ensure that there's proper communication, both with sponsors and partners. Some of our partners have had a relationship with IVSA for a couple of years now, so some of them are well established, others are new. So it's always important to make sure that you sustain the relationships that you have, but also to be able to create new ones as the opportunity arises. So this is mostly done via email and regular online meetings to ensure that both organizations are up to date with what needs to be done. And also we have the different reports like the IVSA journal and the VPH journal that Andre will also talk about a bit later. That basically just display what IVSA does every term, and it's a good way to communicate how we grow as an organization. And then also, of course, we have our social media platforms, the website, Facebook and Instagram, where we just actively share information or activities, and sometimes also from the partner side, any information that they would like to be displayed to our delegates. And then, of course, you would want to get as much possible sponsors and monetary support for IVSA to grow. So this year I recruited all the expertise of the officials, and we created the sponsorship proposal, first of its kind, that we will send out to all the sponsors and partners. I will show you an image of that just now. It basically just as a summary of what IVSA is, all the projects we're running, and then the different tier systems that are available in terms of what they can sponsor and how much they can get in return. And then when we do manage to set up an agreement with a partner, we call it a memorandum of understanding or an MOU. And that's basically just a contract that displays what the terms are for the collaboration, and it also defines the duration of when it will be valid for. So IVSA, as I mentioned earlier, has both sponsors and partners. Sponsors are more companies that use monetary support, and partners are more like an information sharing type of agreement. So these are not always MOUs, but more like a mutually beneficial agreement that we sign. And then on top of that, just in general, the role of is just to foster new relations between IVSA and other vet organizations, alongside the presidents, so with other student organizations in the world, like the medical or the dental association, to ensure that we all collaborate well towards a One Health approach. Okay, so there's just a couple of images of the sponsorship proposal. So as you can see, it has like a section that explains and displays what IVSA is exactly about, what the different activities are that we do, and then also the sponsorship tiers that has like different monetary categories alongside with different sponsorship benefits. This has only been done or completed around the beginning of March, and it's been sent to quite a lot of companies, and that did harvest some interest. So hopefully for the next term there will be a lot more companies signing MOUs with IVSA. Then to just quickly go through the sponsors that we currently have, Bayer, Multiview, Independent Vet Care, and VetPD. I'll just give a brief summary of what exactly relationship we have with them. Okay, so Bayer Animal Health, you should all know it's a global pharmaceutical company that uses IVSA to basically expose its brand on social media platforms. In return for that, they give us an annual amount of 10,000 euros that goes towards the central fund. We have a continuous MOU with them that gets renewed every year. So as long as both parties does not specifically define that they want to stop the agreement, it will renew for next year as well. Multiview is a company that uses a platform. It's like a banner on our website where they can advertise other companies, like a small advertisement area. And in return for that, the companies pay Multiview, and Multiview pay IVSA royalty payments. This is like 30% of the annual amount. Independent Vet Care is a recruitment agency for newly graduated vets. They're mostly based in the UK. We will have 2 representatives of them on Sunday that will give a short presentation. They'll also be attending the Zagreb Zoo and the formal dinner. So it will be nice to network with them. They provide great opportunities for graduates to go and work at the clinics, and provide great support for these newly graduates in terms of getting into the whole veterinary profession, and to make sure that the transition is as smooth as possible. So if you can try and get to know the 2 representatives, they will provide a lot of useful information that might be of beneficial to you one day. All right, VetPD, Charlotte did mention what they do. They offer us raffle tickets for the online webinars, and then also discounted prices for IVSA members. We have a 2-year contract with them, so that's the proposed MOUs that you guys must please go access on the Google Drive. So when an MOU is less than 1 year duration, the EXCO can approve it. If it's more than 1 year, then we have to present it to the General Assembly. needs to be reviewed and approved. So please, if you all can just access the delegate file on the Google Drive. It's both VetPD and VetBooks for Africa images. Just read through it, and when I present it, you will have the opportunity to ask questions or just discuss it. Okay, that's all the partners we have. I'm just going to touch on a couple of them. OIE, the World Organization for Animal Health, we have a very good, long-standing relationship with them. The MOU, it gets renewed every year, and there's concept notes that defines the exact terms, which gets renewed every year. VetBooks for Africa, Charlotte mentioned earlier, it's a great initiative where we support the initiative of advertising and improving the veterinary education in African countries. Wild welfare, we signed the MOU with the Standing Committee of Animal Welfare. It's basically just to raise the information about wild animals, which is sometimes lacking in the veterinary syllabus. And the Vet Festival is a very short MOU that we had. It's basically a big event where different companies attend, and it's a nice exposure platform for IVSA to get its name out to the world. And then Mission Rabies, Charlotte also explained, we had a rabies surveillance project that we did in Ghana this year. So Mission Rabies was started in 2013 with the aim of eradicating dog-related, bite-related rabies by 2030. So that's the whole process that we're trying to work with. And the rest are just some of the other partners that we have. Okay, then just quickly for next year, hopefully we'll be able to have these upcoming sponsors and partners. And Ikeria is very similar to Independent Vetcare. They're more based in Nordic and European countries. Also a newly graduate vet recruitment agency that will also, that we're busy formulating an MOU where they will hopefully give some money to the central fund. The Erasmus Plus grants, I think most of you should know about them. They provide a lump sum of money for student organizations or individuals. So we're going to see if there will be a grant that's applicable and available for IVSA to apply for. The MiniVet Guides is a very small guideline book that you can use in your clinics. Very helpful. We've been in communication with the two authors of the MiniVet Guides to try and create a relationship where IVSA members can hopefully get discount on these guides or the flashcards that also provide. They would have provided a soft skill workshop in this Congress, but unfortunately that did not happen. But hopefully with the next Congress, we'll suppose they'll be able to attend. The FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, you all should probably know about them. We don't have an official relationship with them, but we are looking into creating a way to provide internship opportunities to IVSA members that can go to the FAO. And then the Morris Animal Foundation is just a foundation that provides grants to for veterinary-related events. So Charlotte's going to just, my secretary is just going to talk about the World Federation of Public Health Associations. And before that, I'm just going to give like a personal experience of my position. So first of all, just serving on EXCO, Secretariat or Chair, any of the official positions, is really beneficial to you as an individual because it creates a chance to work with a group of people on a multicultural platform, individuals from different backgrounds, different ideas and way of thinking. So it always challenges you and makes you think, have an open mind. So if you do consider running for anything, even if you're not sure what the position entails, please come speak to the officials. We will gladly inform you what we do and answer any questions. But yeah, take that leap of faith. Even if it's your first Congress, it will contain a lot of benefits for you as an individual now and as you go along. Thank you.
So the World Federation of Public Health Associations is an association that collects all the public health associations that are present in different regions of the world. And we got accepted as a sustaining member of the World Federation of Public Health Associations this year in May. So as a member now we have access to public health related webinars and we can take part in public health related events, and we can also have positions for interns in the World Federation of Public Health Associations. Also, the most important thing about this collaboration is the Public Health Congress, which will be held in Rome in 2020 from the 12th to the 17th of October. So the theme of this Congress is Public Health for the Future of Humanity, Analysis, Advocacy and Action. So there'll be over 4,000 public health professionals present in this Congress. So both from policymakers, students, doctors, pharmacists, anybody who has got something to do with public health will be probably present at this event. So it's going to be very big, and it's organized every 2 years. So the next one is going to be in 2020. And it's organized by the World Federation of Public Health Associations, but also the European Public Health Association and the Italian Society for Hygiene, Preventative Medicine and Public Health. Also, the low-cost fees are going to be available until the 30th of November 2019. But IVSA is going to work on having a group of student volunteers to try and give some positions for a very reduced fee, or even be able to take part for free in the Congress and in exchange be a volunteer. That is still ongoing, so we'll see how that works out with the Federation, but they are hosting it. So remember that if you're interested, you can look online, find more information, and watch out for the low-cost fees, which are available till the 30th of November this year.
All right, are there any questions for any of the positions that just spoke to you about their job? Anybody? Well, you know who they are, find them later, talk to them, run for their positions. Very good. Okay, so the chair will entertain a motion to go into recess for an hour for lunch.
Yay.
Somebody do it. Sure, kindly. Okay, any objections to going into recess? Hearing none, we're in recess. Don't move. There's probably announcements, because there's always announcements. Tanya, go ahead. Yeah, they don't have to go right now. We have
So a few announcements. Does everybody have the application installed? If you have the application installed, you should refresh it or like how do you say, update it, please. Yes, because we made some changes with the booklet. So can you please update it, everybody? The rest, I know that not everybody heard, but water from the tap is drinkable. So please get your reusable bottles, and you can drink the water from the tap. And next, if you need something for the cultural evening things, there is a big supermarket, like 10 minutes walking, like plates or something that you need. So if somebody needs during lunch or after